example 5 wants us to calculate factorials. So first what you want to know is that a factorial, if they use it in the term n factorial, what that means is that, so any number, what you do is you take that number and you multiply it by decreasing values of that number. So you start off with n and then you multiply by n minus 1 and so on and so forth. So you just keep taking 1 away from that number until you get down to the number 1. For a, we have 7 factorial. So 7 factorial is the same as 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. You can do this on your calculator. It should be under the probability section. It's got a little exclamation point. But you can also do it by hand. If you're going to do it by hand, I would suggest grouping. Multiply little numbers together. So like 7 times 6 is 42. 5 times 4 is 20. And 3 times 2 is 6. You can then kind of continuously move down. So you've got 42 times 120. And if you can't do that by hand or just in your head, you can always do long multiplication or use your calculator. So this would be 0 for 2, bring the 0, 0, 8, 4. So we've got 4,000. Oops, did that the wrong way. 0, 4, 0, 5. So you got 5,040. Pretty big number. So factorials on their own can create very, very large numbers. Now, B says, what about 13 factorial? 13 factorial over 11 factorial. Now, here's something that's nice. So now that we're dividing by 2 of them, factorials, because they descend until they get down to 0, are going to repeat a lot of the same numbers. So what you can think of is that, hey, well, 13 factorial is 13 times 12 times 11 times 10, and so on. And 11 factorial is 11 times 10 times 9, etc., etc., etc. Well, they're going to repeat themselves, and so you're going to have large chunks of one in the other. And it's actually got the 11 in it too. What am I doing? So the way that you can think about it is that as soon as you get to the number that you're dividing by, that is true. 13 factorial is 13 times 12 times 11 factorial. And so if you're dividing by 11 factorial, you are allowed to cancel those. And so your answer is just going to be 13 times 12, which that should be, let's see, 130 plus 26, so 156. Oops, can't write that very well. So when you're dealing with factorials, if it's just on its own, pretty big number, but if you're dividing them, look for what they have in common, and then those will eliminate, making your answer much, much simpler and smaller.